Welcome to the show, y'all. Hope everybody out there is having a great day. It is Thursday, February 26th, and I got a full show for you, jam-packed. So in just a second, we have an ICE whistleblower delivering earth-shattering testimony in a dark tell-all. I mean, this guy spills the tea, and it's just as bad as you think it is, if not worse, when it comes to what ICE is even saying behind the scenes. Like, they're breaking all these laws. Everybody knows they're breaking all these laws. But do they view themselves as criminals? Turns out the answer is yes, it is. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. We also have Sam Harris now desperately trying to get us to go to war with Iran. One of the most pathetic clips I think I've ever seen, where he's basically like a crack addict, like, just one more war, man. Just give me one more and then everything will be great, man. I promise. So we got that. We also have Israel no longer hiding their true intentions. And then later on, what the hell is Gavin Newsom doing? That's a genuine question at this point. And also, RFK Jr. is royally fucked. And we'll talk about that too. So you guys know the deal, man. Everybody, please do me a huge favor and subscribe to the channel. You could also support the show on Patreon or tip with that thanks button on YouTube and support Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. That link is below. And also, go subscribe to Corin's World, because we'll be back next week with a live Kyle and Corin on Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, so let's jump right in. So the Daily Mail says the following. Key witness who watched ICE account of controversial Texas shooting dies in a car wreck. Okay, they're softening the language a little bit here, but what happened was a witness to ICE murdering somebody was just killed or died. A witness to ICE murdering. Okay. A key witness in the fatal shooting of Ruben Ray Martinez, killed by a federal agent on South Padre Island last March, has died after losing control of his vehicle and crashing. He was preparing to challenge ICE's account under oath. Well, isn't that mighty fucking convenient for ICE? Isn't that mighty fucking convenient for ICE? At this point, I think you would be absolutely crazy if you didn't think that them being involved is a possibility. I think that absolutely has to be investigated. Because, well, of course, we're talking about a group here that's abducting innocent people and destroying due process. And like we always say, there's over 4,000 people missing because of ICE. We don't know where they are. Their lawyers don't know. Their families don't know. Over 4,000 people missing from Alligator Alcatraz. We also have at least 40 people who've died in ICE custody, including one that was potentially lynched. Hands tied, feet tied, found hanging in the cell. They're building these concentration camps right now. They are, for sure, above the law in a way where they're aware of how above the law they are. And so would I put it by them to, do something fucked up to this kid, make him crash his car because he was going to tell the truth about how they're committing murder? I absolutely would not put it by them. So I hope that gets fully and thoroughly investigated. But I also needed to show you guys this, because this is just absolutely earth-shattering here. We have a former ICE agent who testified to Congress, and he spills the tea on what they're doing and what they know about their tactics, okay? Watch this.
On my first day, I received secretive orders to teach new cadets to violate the Constitution by entering homes without a judicial warrant. For the last 5 months, I watched ICE dismantle the training program, cutting 240 hours of vital classes from a 584-hour program. Classes that teach the Constitution, our legal system, firearms training, the use of force, lawful arrests, proper detention, and the limits of officers' authority. For example, they ceased all of the legal instructions regarding use of force. This means that cadets are not taught what it means to be objectively reasonable, the very standard which the law requires them to meet when deciding whether or not to use deadly force. Our jobs as instructors are to teach them so well that they can make split-second decisions about what they can and cannot do in life or death situations. Yet, in the name of churning out an endless stream of officers, DHS leadership has dismantled the academic and practical tests that we need to know if cadets can safely and lawfully perform their job. All to satisfy an administration demanding they train thousands of new officers before the end of the year. DHS told the public that new cadets receive all the training they need to perform their duties, that no critical material or standards have been cut. This is a...
Wow. understand something, guys. They know what they're doing. And that's the most nefarious part of all of this, is that there's going to come a time where accountability comes and they're going to be like, oh, oops, tee. I guess there were some oversights on our part, and perhaps we, messed up a little bit here or there, didn't hire the best people that did the best job. No, it is a directive from above. I guarantee you, Stephen Miller said, I don't want you to fucking train these people. I want them out on the streets. I want them roughing up people at the local Home Depot or Lowe's. I want them raiding schools. They shut down the agency that goes after the child traffickers and said, I want you to stop focusing on the hard cases that require a lot of police work. I want you to get out there right now and start racking up numbers for me. I care about arrests. I care about deportations. I care about quantity, not quality of who you go after. And so the worst of the worst, they're not going after the worst of the worst. Like 95% of the people they're going after are not undocumented immigrant violent criminals. Like, we're talking about just a tiny percentage that are, okay? And here's this guy telling you, like, they know what they're doing. They are lying. They know what they are teaching the people who educate the next generation of ICE agents. Hey, here's how you violate the Constitution. Here's how you use an administrative warrant and lie and tell people it's a judicial warrant and then enter somebody's house illegally and unconstitutionally. Like, that's what you need to understand. And this is what Democrats need to get through their head more than anything, is that they're still operating on this paradigm of like, oh, this is a law enforcement agency that is doing a bad job. No, it's not just a law enforcement agency that's doing a bad job. It's like, it is Trump's paramilitary. It's his secret police. It's the Gestapo. That's what it is. Like, they would say, oh, it's broken what's happening. Like, no, it's working exactly as Stephen Miller and Donald Trump intend it to work. That's the point. And you guys know this. They're hiring people. They're saying, we're going to give you a $50,000 bonus. We're hiring, all these different people. Come to find out who's signing up. People with literal criminal records, people who are domestic abusers, people from extremist political groups, whether it be the Oath Keepers or the Three Percenters, or there's January Sixers, there's Klan people, there's people with swastika tattoos. Like, this is who, they know what they're signing up for. We're signing up to crack some skulls of brown people. We're signing up to go after the dissidents against MAGA. That's what we're doing. And that's why you get videos like in Washington, D.C., when they sent the feds in, where one guy says to the ICE thug, he goes, you guys are ruining this country. And the guy replies, liberals have already ruined this country. This is who they are. This is the profile. So what you have is what's basically like a red state army invading in blue states and going after, like I said, dissidents against MAGA, going after black people and brown people and immigrants, and they don't give a fuck if you're an undocumented immigrant violent criminal. They don't care. That's not what they're actually going after. That's the lie they told you to start this whole fiasco. Did you know it used to be like 5 or 6 months of training? Now it's down to 47 days. Why did they pick 47 days? Because Trump is the 47th president of the United States of America. He's saying they're literally skipping the part about what you're not allowed to do. They're skipping the part of the constitutional limits that you need to stay within. They are actively, there were some of these people who do the training, they quit when they were told, hey, you can't tell them to violate the Constitution. That's not a thing. You can't tell them you could use the administrative warrant when they need a judicial warrant. You are violating the law. And guys like this, good guys like this, he's speaking up. He's going in front of Congress. And by the way, don't think he's not in danger either. We just discussed how, ICE, at least 40 people have died in ICE custody, and there are some people dying in some sketchy-ass circumstances. We know they tried to murder a woman in LA. They crashed into her and shot her like 7 times, and she had to go to the hospital. She needed, emergency care in the ICU. They had to stop her from bleeding out, and so she gets out, and the video comes out, and come to find out, everything the ICE thug said was a lie. They literally assaulted her and tried to murder her. These are the same people that he's blowing the whistle on. These are the same people that he's telling you the truth about. And he's definitely putting himself in danger by coming out here and telling the truth. That there is a directive to not abide by the Constitution. There is a directive to not care about people's rights. Well, guess what? As I've said a million times, I hope there's a bunch of lawyers out there who are listening to this, prosecutors, whoever, who are keeping meticulous, detailed notes on all of this stuff. So we know exactly what the crimes are and exactly who to go after, because we can't fucking live like this, y'all. We can't live like this. The rapid descent into authoritarianism and fascism happened so quickly that it's actually mind-boggling and astonishing. And once you get rid of due process, it's gone for everybody. People say, oh no, that wouldn't happen to me. It couldn't happen to me. Like, no, literally, once it's gone for a single immigrant, it's also gone for you. Because if you don't get your day in court, if they don't give you a fair hearing, if they take away your constitutional rights, then who's going to hear your cries for help? Who's going to hear you pleading that you got it all wrong, you got it backwards? I'm not somebody you should be doing this to. It's just, this is where we are now in this country. And so much love to Ryan Schwenk here for coming out and telling the truth. We need more ICE whistleblowers. We also need, look, I've told you guys this before, but I actually want there to be basically left-wing infiltrators in all of these, like in the belly of the beast. I want them at the core of the Death Star, okay? And I want people there to be able to pump the brakes, to be able to, like, adjust. And, I know it feels like, oh, am I doing something immoral? Well, no, if you're actually basically like a spy and a double agent, I would argue you're doing like the most moral thing. You have the hardest job of anybody. But it's genuinely has a positive impact on society. And I'm starting to think there's maybe a handful of them, certainly in the military, because as it became clear that we're going to attack Iran, you started getting all these leaks in the media from military figures basically saying, this shit is not going to work. It's going to fail. It's a total mess. We're not prepared for this. We don't have enough missiles. We don't have enough interceptors. This is going to be a catastrophe. So perhaps there's already people who've infiltrated who are telling the truth, because, you can't live a lie forever. They can't live a lie forever, and they're trying to. MAGA is built on lies. But, we're here to expose the truth. So hopefully people are waking up to what we're dealing with, and that's why I need every Democrat to stop fucking around and just say the truth. Every Democrat needs to stop fucking around and say, abolish ICE. That's it. There is no middle ground. There is no, oh, they need new training and body cameras. A lot of them fucking have body cameras and they're still murdering people. We have a bunch of murders recorded from 42 different angles and the guys still haven't been arrested. Like, what are you talking about? They literally are murdering people in the streets and getting away with it. And you think body cameras are going to save this? No, you have to defund it. You have to abolish ICE. You have to get rid of it. We can go back to how we used to do immigration enforcement back in the day. It's like, it's like a paperwork issue. That's literally what it is. It's like, a low level, like misdemeanor or some shit like that. We're not talking about, hey, you get the death penalty or you got to be locked up for years because somebody's here and they don't have their papers. Like, that's fucking ridiculous, right? We can go back to enforcing it in a reasonable, intelligent way, as opposed to what we have now, which is American citizens are getting murdered in the streets. Right? Alex Preddy, Renee Nicole Good. We've seen it. And their guys still haven't been arrested. It's because this is how they think. They think they're above the law, and they're acting like they are above the law, and they've been granted paramilitary powers. And it can't stand. We need mass trials, and these people need to be locked up. And as soon as Democrats get back in power, they should be looking at doing exactly that. That, honestly, that should probably be number one on the list, is bringing about justice.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.